Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Connor Knowles, and this is the Nerdic Gods podcast, episode 249? 50? Are we at 250? It's 250.
249. 249.
249.
We're
On the
almost
show,
there.
everybody. Joining me as always, Daniel Never Really.
What's up, gamers?
Daniel.
Hello.
Daniel, what's your favorite form of potato? Tough question. Very tough question. The potatoes, so...
Well, number one, I'm going to say, is there a bad form of a potato?
No, not really.
I don't think so.
I can
So
name
we're
one
gonna
I
get that out of the
dislike
way.
that has potato in it. And that would be fake mashed potatoes. Can't stand those.
Instant mashed potatoes?
Yeah, the box ones. Can't stand
They're
those.
not great, but if that's all you have, like, that's all you got. You know what I mean?
Hey, if you living off box mashed potatoes, I feel for you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if that's all you got, it's like, that's not too bad. Scallop potatoes, pretty underrated. Not my favorite, not my go-to, but those are good. Favorite potato, I mean, without like getting into the nitty-gritty of the categories, like French fries got to be pretty high up there.
See, when you get into French fries, though, you got to get into which fry.
Do you have to get into the category? I feel like
a
it's
little
a secondary
bit,
question.
a little bit. It kind of is, but like no other form of potato has this many categories, or any
That's
for
true.
that matter.
That's true. But that's why I feel like you got to just say fries.
If you say
Or
fries,
its own thing.
do you have
not
like a specific fast food place where you're like, oh, those fries, those are the perfect fries, or a restaurant or some shit?
Well, no, they have to be fresh.
Mm.
I mean, the classics, the McDonald's. Burger King's pretty low tier fries.
Yeah, Burger King sucks, just in general.
They're low tier pretty much of everything.
Burger King, I don't understand how they're open.
Yeah. Arby's, you gotta like the curly fries. I'm not the biggest fan of like most of their other things. They're pretty underrated, but they're not like super like top tier for anything else. But their fries
Never seen a packed Arby's, tell you that much.
Yeah. Their fries are great. What else? Not crazy about waffle fries. They're okay.
Really? Okay.
When they get cold, they're bad.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Something about
they're
the
not
thick
hot.
cuts. When they get cold, yeah.
Steak
Can't
fries
do it.
too. Not crazy about steak fries.
Yeah, I can't do it.
When they get cold, they're bad. Crinkle cut's really good. That
French
might be
fries, the shit.
That might be top tier.
Mm.
A nice crinkle cut. It's the crispiest.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Culver's crinkle cut.
Yeah, I've never had Culver's, but I would like to try Culver's.
And my favorite fast food fry, probably Five Guys.
Yeah, that's good. Sometimes they're too oily.
Sure.
But that's if they're like
that
really
shit's
busy.
good.
And they don't drain them enough.
Yeah,
they're too oily. But
it's that peanut oil,
It's the peanut oil, yeah. Baked potatoes are pretty good too.
Baked
I think I
potatoes
gotta
are
say
shit.
mashed potatoes.
Yep.
I think that might be the best form. But fries are probably really close.
Yeah, I'm almost exactly with you. I mean, you'd put just fries in general as the top, but yeah, then which fry? It's harder to pick, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm just saying fries. I'm not gonna. But mashed potatoes are good. Baked potatoes are also really good.
I've been getting into tiny potatoes lately. Those just those like small circle ones. Whatever I'm eating, pretty fucking good.
Interesting. Just like kind of roasting them.
No, I put them in the oven. Pop it in there for like an hour. Yeah, bake them.
Interesting.
Salt and pepper them before.
How do you feel about? So there's two different names for these. Some people call them home fries. Some people call them like. What's the other name? Kind of like. I'm trying to think of the other name. Some people call them home fries. It's basically like breakfast potatoes.
Breakfast potato, little square cubes.
Yes.
Okay.
Some people call them home fries, which is a weird name for them because they're not really fries. But
love them. Wouldn't be my first pick if I got my range of potato here, but
if you got sides for breakfast,
if you got sides, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now the breakfast potato sides are very interesting to me because we pretty much
gotta go hash browns.
Yeah, we pretty much always call even those little square things, right? I will typically just call those hash browns if I'm ordering.
They're not hash browns.
They're not, but not at all. But the hash browns completely different. But I will call them hash browns anytime you're eating a potato in the morning. Hash browns.
Yeah, and then like
become.
They kind of ruin the hash brown too, because it's like if you go to like a fast food place, they call those hash browns, but they're not really hash browns.
No, not really. I mean, traditional hash browns are supposed to be the like shredded potato one,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Great. So
Which like
even what McDonald's offers
yeah,
isn't a hash brown.
when you bite it, it feels like they shred it, but it's so packed and fried.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
it's not a hash brown.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Now, best form of hash brown is the McDonald's hash brown. Like
For
pretty
fast
clearly.
food?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the nice big one. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Those little circle ones,
They're
you
not
know,
bad.
most
They always have
places.
a weird aftertaste.
100%. That's what I'm
Always.
saying, dude. I
What
got
is
them at
going
Dunkin'
on
like a
with
week or two ago, and I was like, "What is going on
Dunkin' ones are
here?"
too thick. They're too thick.
Yeah, I dislike if the Dunkin' ones are the worst. Burger
They're too
King
thick.
is better than Dunkin' because they both
Yeah.
got the circular hash brown thing. I believe Wendy's also does that for breakfast, though I'm not
Interesting.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
potatoes, man, very interesting. Underrated fast food fry is the Taco Bell fries. Maybe not even underrated, but I fuck
Yeah,
with
they're
the
pretty
Taco
good.
Bell fries. Yeah,
They're pretty good for what they are.
whatever seasoning they put on there, pretty fucking good.
What do you think about, like, um, potato skins? You get for, like, an appetizer at, like, a pub or, like,
Oh,
a
sure. Yeah,
those are
lovely.
good too.
They sprinkle the bacon bits on there
Cheese
or
and
whatever, you know,
bacon?
cheese and bacon. Yeah, yeah,
Come on
lovely.
now.
Lovely. Now, when I
Yeah.
eat a baked potato, I'm eating the whole thing. You know, I'm eating that skin,
So,
I'm
what
eating
do
the
you
whole
put on your
thing.
baked potato? Oh, yeah, I eat the
Uh,
skin too.
yeah. I typically go, well, I like cheese for sure. I'm in Wisconsin, so it only
Okay.
makes sense.
I
I'm
mean,
I'm
cheese
putting
makes everything better.
yeah, I'm putting sprinkled cheese on that bitch. And then probably just salt, pepper, butter.
Salt, pepper, butter, any
Yeah.
sour cream on yours?
Sometimes if I'm feeling it, you know, if you get the sour cream, you got to get those what are those little fucking green things? Little green onion, you know,
Oh,
that
yeah, like
stuff.
a
Yeah,
chive.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The chive chopped up on
Interesting.
there. Yeah, you got
That
to
seems
get
a little
all that.
fancy.
Yeah, but like if I'm getting the sour cream, that's when I'm feeling
You want the
fancy.
chive too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Interesting. You put bacon on your baked potato?
If I have it, you know. But then it's also like then if I gotta make the bacon, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother
Mm.
dish I gotta bring out. You know, that's a process now. All of a sudden, where a baked potato can just be very simple. Throw the potato in the oven. Potatoes take so long to cook too. Where you're
Yeah,
just
me too.
like, you know,
Spoil it.
I forget. I remember this comedian when I was a kid. I used to always watch his stand up on Comedy Central. I forget who it is, but he'd be like, you know, I'll throw a baked potato in the oven, go on vacation.
So good.
And that's like a real thing, you know. So you gotta be, you throw in a baked potato in the oven before you're hungry, but you know you're gonna be hungry in the future, and then you're like, wow, I got a baked potato.
Why are people twice baking their baked potatoes? That feels like too much effort for
Yeah,
not much.
yeah,
It's not better, really.
yeah. It really isn't. I don't really get it either. It's
You're like scooping it out, baking it again or whatever, and then
yeah,
like whipping it up, whatever. It's too
yeah.
much. What are you doing?
It's a whole thing. Now I've been getting really into steak as of like I don't know, probably the last year
Mm.
making steak, and
Gotta have potatoes with your steak.
yeah, exactly. And you go down a rabbit hole with people making their fucking steaks, let me tell you. And it's like
Yeah.
you can make a pretty damn good steak without doing any of this, but like people go in with their steaks and
You really
it's
just need like salt and
fascinating.
pepper.
That's really all you need, right? And then just
And
cook
maybe
it
some butter.
somewhat properly and you're
Yeah.
fine. But people get crazy with their steaks, you know, you marinate it for like 3 days or whatever the fuck. I'm like, oh, all right.
If you got the time, marinating will always make things better.
100%, but it's like, damn, I'm just trying to eat a steak here.
Yeah, if you don't got the time to do that, then you just put it on.
Nobody got time for that.
You like temping your steak and stuff? Is that how much you got into it? Is that
No, no. I mean, I'll try anything, you
just
know,
feeling it
anything I
out?
see on a YouTube video or whatever. But if it's just like base, I'm just trying to eat some dinner here. I'm just throwing that bitch in the air fryer these days.
Interesting. You're just timing it. That's it. You're not
Yeah.
even like you're not doing it in a pan and like
No, no. Sometimes if I'm feeling fancy, I'll pull it out and then, you know, keep it in the air fryer for less time and then put a nice sear on it after, you know, just to crisp it up a little bit. Air fryer, not perfect by any means, but it makes
does
a
it
good
have
enough
like a
steak.
steak setting or do you have
No,
tried to look
you
up what
just throw.
time?
I just throw it at like 400 and put it in there for like 10 minutes, and depending on the cut and how thick it is and all that, right? But yeah, no special setting or anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Air fryer is
Yeah,
a genius.
you're getting a lot of use out of that air fryer. Do
Oh
you have
yeah,
a big air fryer to
oh
be able
yeah.
to fit a steak in it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely big enough
Because
for
ones
that.
I've seen are just like that, just like a little like
You can get the bigger ones. Even nowadays, you can get like real big ones where like you could probably throw
interesting.
the steak and the potato in there once if you wanted to. Yeah, but
you're getting real fancy.
Wouldn't recommend that. Wouldn't recommend that at all. Daniel, another busy week in the world of video games.
It's actually one of the slower weeks.
Yeah, it's definitely slow last week.
Yeah,
we only got a couple news stories. We can go over. I know PlayStation did their, or Sony just in general did their financial results. I think a couple other companies did that too. Bracer came out. Bunch of shit. Oh, Keeley just announced that he's doing the Game Awards thing, or the announcements for the nominees on Monday.
we talked about it a few weeks ago that it was coming up. They'll probably announce them soon. So coming Monday.
Yeah, next Monday, looking like.
Interesting. So I guess we'll talk about. We'll talk about that on the show next week. Thing next week.
Definitely. What do you think? You had to pick.
Oh boy, what
Game of the
year?
Yeah.
So
it's a tough one.
I'm just assuming he's not changing and doing what I want, right?
Yeah,
where there's 10.
He's not. Yeah. If he didn't do it last year, he's not doing it this year.
Yeah. Okay, so if we're only picking 6 games, right? Every other category has 5, I think, right? This is the only one that has 6?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so are there any locks? I guess I would say...
There are 2 locks to me.
Rebirth
and Astrobot.
Yeah. Okay, so then we got 4 games to play with. Is Infinite Wealth just there's 2 games here that I think are probably going to be overlooked the whole time.
Yeah.
One is going to get some recognition in a different category, but Infinite Wealth is going to get overlooked, and Tekken 8. Tekken 8's going to win fighting game, but anything else is going to be overlooked.
Yeah. Tekken 8 has the downside. Both of those have the downside of coming out in January, right?
Yeah. So I don't think those 2 will be there as much as I want Infinite Wealth to be there.
I think Tekken 8 will be there, just maybe not in this category. I could see it slipping in though. This one, like I said, it's really
like it's reviewed
with
so
the other
well.
4 games. Like it's up in the air. I really think it is. It's really tough to pick.
So there's no other locks, but
I do have one that I think is next to a lock because of what Game Awards is now, and that would be Shadow of the Erdtree.
If that's in Game of the Year, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Didn't they put Cyberpunk in last year or whatever?
That was like best ongoing game.
Was it? Okay.
Which is not. It wasn't an ongoing.
Okay,
game,
maybe it's not much of a lock as I think it is then.
Yeah,
but
that might be.
I wouldn't be shocked at all.
They need to have like a DLC / like expansion category.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what other. So like Dragon's Dogma is probably up there.
Again, I feel like that'll get overlooked at this point.
Yeah.
No one really talked about that as the year went on. Zelda's tough.
Space Marine might be up there. I mean,
I see so many people throwing out Black Myth Wukong, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Not for Game of the Year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, it wasn't that high critically, and I feel like I know that game sold so many fucking copies, but I feel like the talk around that one just died down really quick.
Yeah.
But I don't know. People would say the same thing about Rebirth, and I think that's a lock. So maybe it is.
I wonder if Metaphor will be able to make it.
I think Metaphor will get in there. I think if they're picking between Infinite Wealth and Metaphor, a turn-based game getting in there, turn-based RPG, I think they're all going to go Metaphor. Plus, Metaphor added advantage of everyone's kind of playing it right now.
Yeah. And I guess it is like industry people that are voting on this, right?
Yeah.
I guess industry people also like Infinite Wealth.
If I had to pick, I'd go Astrobot, FF7, Metaphor. I think Balatro is going to get in there.
I don't think so.
If I had to pick the indie game, I think it's between...
I think for indie, it'll probably win the best indie game this year. I just don't think it's going to get Game of the Year.
I think it'll get in Game of the Year. If it doesn't, I think Animo will. One of those.
Ooh,
between the 2 indie picks, I think those are the 2 top indies, critically at least this year.
UFO 50.
Yeah, that one's interesting because it only came out on PC, right? And it's like I just don't know how many people ended up playing that.
Yeah, then maybe Neva.
Yeah, I could see Neva. Yeah, if I think top indie choice this year is Balatro, and I think that's kind of clear.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's got the juice. There's a lot of games this year.
Yeah,
like what else is even
Dragon Age? I don't know. Could see Dragon Age getting in there. I think Dragon Age has Dragon Ball maybe. I doubt it.
Yeah, let me pull up our fantasy critic. I mean, that's we're gonna have a big list of like what the scores are.
Yeah.
Let me see. Here's a surprise one that we forgot, which is also an indie darling-ish. Unicorn Overlord.
Mm.
That's kind of forgotten a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
That might get like best narrative.
yeah, it could be out there for RPG as well. Uh, let's see. Prince of Persia.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's a good choice. I wonder if they could go with that.
Hellblade 2 for something, maybe narrative or something.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely actress with her.
Yeah, yeah. Mate, see, this is not one I would want because it's a remake. Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yeah, see, I think them putting Rebirth in will cancel out Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yeah,
If I'm being honest, Silent Hill 2 remake should get nominated for best narrative, but again, you get into the whole remake thing.
yeah. I see. I'm good. I looked at this list. We got Helldivers 2 for something.
Yes, Daniel, Helldivers 2 could be nominated for Game of the Year. No, no technical issues on our side at all.
No,
Just ignore that.
none whatsoever.
Just ignore that.
There's a few other games.
Yeah, go for it.
Stellar Blade.
Ooh, Stellar Blade, I could see getting in there. I think that'll be nominated for like at least best action,
Action.
adventure, or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm. And then Lorelei and the Laser Eyes is like another one that could be
Yeah, yeah,
like
that's a
an
good
indie
one.
hit.
Yeah, I could see that. Best indies probably that
Yeah.
could get up in there. Yeah, yeah. If
Um,
yeah,
yeah, picking
Helldivers 2
six
is a
is
good
tough.
call out. Yeah, I don't know. It is tough. It is tough. I'm gonna go just to lock in. Go Astrobot, FF7 Rebirth, Metaphor, Elatro. I think they're gonna do it with Erdtree, and then I think I'll go Zelda for the last one. Just throw the Nintendo pick in there.
Mm.
Yeah.
I would I would be so upset if Erdtree, as much as a fan of like Elden Ring and From Software. It's just DLC. It's
Watch it
nothing.
win.
Oh my god, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
I would
What do
lose
you
my
think
mind.
wins?
Um, Oof, that's tough. That's super tough. It's not my game of the year, but it feels like they'll give it to Rebirth.
Really?
Yeah,
I think it feels like they'll give it to Astro.
I would hope not. As much as I love Astro, I just don't. I don't. It's not my game of the year either. I think it's up there. I mean, I like Astro. I think more than Rebirth, but
My thing with Rebirth is there is that like Sims. There's a whole side of people that did not like it. You know, like I think it's good enough to get nominated, but I just think there's a lot of people that didn't like a lot of aspects of it, and I feel like
sure,
everyone loves everything about Astrobot. You know, maybe not to the extent of the highs of other games, but I think just
sure.
across the board.
Mhm. What about just Metaphor sneaking and just taking the?
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe. Like that wouldn't shock me. I think there's a lot of people that didn't play Astrobot or not Astro Metaphor though. You know,
yeah,
or are still making their way through it by the time they vote.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there could always be a dark horse that wins it, right?
No, for
Like
sure. Yeah, I wouldn't
Infinite
get.
Wealth could win.
Yeah, Infinite Wealth. I mean, if it does get nominated, we'll see. You know, even Tekken 8, right? Like we were just talking about
Yeah,
that. But like, I don't know if
yeah,
it does get nominated for Game of the Year, maybe.
yeah. Man, it's super popular when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, gonna be an interesting one this year. Really tough to tell.
Hmm.
No big like clear runaway like we've had with Gears
I don't
and
think so.
Elden Ring,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
well,
You're right. There's no big runaway this year.
yeah,
It's just a
definitely
lot
not.
of good games, just a breadth of good games.
Right, yeah. All right, well, we'll find out next week, Keely. We'll
Oh,
see.
I know what game it is. Concord.
There it goes. There it goes, man. Oh, wait till that secret level episode, you know, or whatever. Turn the whole thing around. Uh, I still just can't wait to watch that episode. Be like, wow, you know,
What is even happening? Yeah, you don't even know these
really,
characters yet.
really miss. I can't wait to see Star Child's backstory. Gonna be great.
Oh my god. Which one was Star Child?
Yeah, I have no idea. I just know that was a character.
We need to call
It's the
Tucker.
only.
Tucker, which one was Star Child?
Did he play it?
He's like Concord's #1 fan.
Is he really? Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
for sure.
Did you get the
He
platinum?
loves that game. I don't think he did.
I seen a couple things of people going for the platinum before it went offline.
Mhm.
There's like very few people that got it.
Yeah, Tucker actually thinks that's a great game. I think it seems to be a good game, not great, but okay.
All right, well, let's move on with the other news. Uh, Earlier this week, Phil Spencer did an interview with Bloomberg stating that an Xbox handheld is actually in the works, but it's still years away. He also says a bit more about Xbox games coming to PlayStation. I think he said something like there's no red tape over getting a game on another console or anything now. And then he talked about the overall health of the business, and he says Xbox is healthier right now than it's been in the last few years. I think he was referring to. I'm not exactly sure what time period he was referring to, but it's healthier now than it's been in the last few years, at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder like if that's like now that the Activision Blizzard King deal's done, it's like now they're kind of just getting that revenue.
Yeah. Oh, we're
And
getting
also, like, Black
billions of
Ops just came
dollars
out.
every Q4 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder why it's healthier.
Yeah. There's the WoW subscriptions, there's like Candy Crush,
Yeah.
making money, Call of Duty,
Yeah, instead of
it's like
sinking money into lawyers and court cases,
yeah.
we are now getting money from the thing we try to acquire.
Exactly. Yeah. Um w- uh, I I I still question like because doesn't he say in this thing too something about like they're okay with going after more things, right?
Yeah, more acquisitions as
More
well. He said,
acquisitions,
yeah,
right?
he was kind of making it seem like they have to make more sense than they did in the past. Is kind of what I was reading through the
Mm.
tea leaves there, but not entirely sure. But I mean, he did blatantly say they are open to more acquisitions, so could be seeing
Yeah,
more of those in the future.
I wonder if that like they have ideas of that or it's like just a general statement.
Yeah,
Like if they're like seeing what happened with the Activision deal, they're like taking a step back, I'm sure. But I wonder if they still have like a list of like maybe these kind of look good. Maybe we should kind of go after them.
I saw people throwing out last week that they were the ones that bought Private Division. I was like, I don't really know. It's because it was an undisclosed buyer. It's also like I don't understand with the Private Division thing why it would be undisclosed if it's a company we already know of. Like if it was Embracer or something like that. Like why is it undisclosed?
I
Or
guess it's like
Xbox,
some
right?
like they can't say for some legal reason.
Yeah. It's just
Maybe.
curious to me, but I also don't know what they would do exactly with Private Division. What do they gain from purchasing them? But
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe they did.
And one of the only teams that like makes sense to me, and I'll put that in quotes, like makes sense is probably a Sobo. I
100%.
assumed like they're thinking about that. Like,
Yeah, that's just one of those where it's baffling they don't own them. You know?
yeah,
Yeah,
like they're just when does that is it next week? Um, Flight Sim comes out, right? So
I
it's
believe
like if they're
sometime in
just about to
November,
do
right? Yeah,
another Flight Sim for them, like they have a very good relationship with them. So
yeah.
yeah, that's like one there.
Especially at
And then
this
like
point because the other games could still just go on other platforms. So it's like, why
yeah,
not
like
buy
if they
them?
make a new Plague Tale or something, like
Exactly. Like that would
yeah,
still more than likely just come to PlayStation day one. So it's like,
for sure.
all right.
And then like
And
the
maybe
other
that's
two,
why, though. Maybe we just answered our own question. Sorry to
they
interrupt,
don't
but
need
like,
it.
yeah, they don't need to. Like,
Mhm.
we don't need to buy them when they're already doing everything with us. So
That's fair.
yeah,
The only other two that like make sense to me, and like it makes less sense as time goes on, is Moon Studios and Studio MDHR.
yeah,
Those two like made sense maybe a few years ago, but I don't know if they make as
yeah. MDHR is interesting because it's like, I don't. What are they even working on? Do we even know
yeah.
exactly? It's like all those Cuphead DLCs came out and they're just
It's been
kind
a
of been
few
quiet since.
years since that DLC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
TV show came out. It seemed to be relatively successful. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know with them. Moon, I don't. If you remember, actually, the director did not have good things to say about Game Pass and Xbox and everything. So I kind of think that's off the table now too. Um,
Yeah, I think they kind of started moving their own direction.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I would agree with you. Those are really the only ones left that are, uh, manageable and make sense, right? But what about ones that don't make sense, right? Those are the ones that are always on the table. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I still Bethesda and Activision were just like, we just woke up one day and it was like, holy shit, Xbox is buying Bethesda. Holy shit, Xbox is buying Activision. So it
I think with
can always
that,
just be
the
anything, right?
Bethesda part still makes a little bit of sense.
It
I think
does
you
for
can
sure,
justify
but
that.
yeah, no, 100%. But like, it wasn't like we had rumors or anyone was expecting
Yeah.
those things, right?
Yeah, you gotta think, are they looking into the Japanese still? Because that was the rumor for so long that they were looking into acquiring something Japanese. I don't It was Sega was forever.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, with them just selling off Tango, right? It's just
Yeah.
we don't even know. And it's like, what if you guys are interested in having a developer in Japan? Why wouldn't you have kept them? I don't know. Doesn't make a lot
Yeah.
of sense.
Yeah, they're working closer to with Square, they're working really close with Sega,
Yeah,
so they don't really need anything like that, if they can just keep getting their games coming to the platform. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of what other ones they work with a lot. Um, what was the Life is Strange team?
uh, Don't Nod or
Don't Nod. They
yeah,
work with Don't Nod all the time.
yeah. Didn't Don't Nod? They just got a bunch of investment though from someone. Maybe that was
They
it.
might have.
They might have. Yeah, that was them.
I mean, all their games pretty much come to Game Pass.
Don't Nod's a gamble now because they make so many games as of
Yeah,
late that it's like, do we really want to? That
but
sounds
that
like a
helps
money
Game
snake.
Pass, right?
No, it does for sure, but it's like, have any of them been successful enough? Will any of those games end up bringing more subscribers to Game Pass if we do put them on? You know, I don't think
I guess
that just Sonk game and that other random game Don't Not release were very successful. You know, I think they were well enough, like critically, but didn't really seem like they lit the world on fire. We'll see with that Bloom and Rage game, which seems to be kind of the successor to Life is Strange from Don't Not. So I don't know, maybe that comes out and it's very popular for them.
yeah. I mean, I think you kind of, I guess it's like perspective. Um, like how many big games do you need to like draw people in, or like do you just need content to keep people there?
Right.
Like Call of Duty now that it's on Game Pass, like Call of Duty Black Ops 6 launched in Game Pass, that's going to bring a lot of people. But like a team like Don't Nod, I don't think you necessarily need one of their games to like be on like a big level of bringing people in. You know, like
Sure.
I think those games could be the ones that keep people there. They're like, oh, Don't Nod, oh, that's a cool looking game from them. Maybe I'll keep my subscription for another month. You know, and like they just have more content. Like Don't Nod has been making a lot of games, so like they made what Banishers and what's
There you
that
go. That was
Lost Records or whatever,
yeah, Lost
the one
Records,
you just
Bloom and
talked about.
Rage. Yeah.
Yeah, like those two look really cool, and they're like kind of in that double A space. Like that's just a lot of cool games they're making. So like,
I
uh,
agree, but they already have so many developers that are putting games in that same space, you know?
yeah,
Like
they
Hellblade
have
is
Double Fine.
that same thing, right? Double Fine is that same thing, you know. It goes on and on, right? With the
But you
list
need
of that.
a feed of content to keep people in. You
Sure,
know.
but they almost have it, you know. It's like that's what makes me
Yeah,
really excited about next year with Xbox is they next year should be the first year where we actually have the big
I guess it
quarterly
starts with indie,
releases, you
right?
know. Say that again.
I guess it starts with indie, not even like
Yeah,
necessarily
sure.
next year.
Yeah, yeah,
Starts
yeah.
in
Not
December.
even. Yeah, yeah. That's in December. Then Avowed in February, and they're teed up to have either Doom or the South of Midnight game to be in the
Oh
spring. I'd say,
yeah, I forgot
right?
South of Midnight.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's one of those. I mean, probably Doom. I think we're all assuming, and then South
Doom's
of Midnight's
probably
probably summer.
yeah,
Yeah,
April, May maybe for
yeah.
Doom.
But they could have the four big releases that they've been talking about for years now, and Call of Duty on top of that, right? So
For sure, yeah,
yeah,
whatever the next Call of Duty is.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I kind of want to
I
get into the
guess
handheld though. Like,
sure.
what do we think? Getting actual confirmation that the handheld's here now. I know. I think the rumors started from the FTC leaks probably that their Xbox was in development with a handheld of some sort, and
Mhm.
yeah, now we got official confirmation. Seems like it's still years away. I don't know how long he means by years. Maybe I don't know. I'd assume you'd want to launch that with the new console
Yeah,
if they're really
which
going
would
through
line
with
up,
this.
right?
Right, yeah. If it's years away and that's supposed to be 2026, then yeah, that would make sense to me.
Give players options at launch of like a
Yeah,
new gen,
yeah.
right?
So what do we think this handheld actually is? Because to me, it has to be, yeah, I'm just playing my Xbox games on a handheld. You know, that's what it has to
Yeah,
be. The days of handhelds being their own thing with their own games are long gone. You know,
I think it needs to be more than just a Game Pass machine. I think that needs to be a part of it, but I think you need to be able to play your whole Xbox library
yeah,
on the go.
100%.
Like, there's a lot of these machines that are like that were like streaming service like things. You could just stream games to your tablet, but now with like the Steam Deck, it's like you could just play like most of your Steam library as long as they're compatible
Right.
with a handheld model. Like you could just play your whole library. So yeah, hopefully Xbox is coming up with a way to maybe be able to stream Game Pass and have your library on a handheld. Um, it might require some sort of connection, Wi-Fi or I don't know, internet connection in some way. Um,
That's my big question: is this just cloud reliant
yeah,
entirely, or am I able to download the things? And that I think will determine the success of this thing. You know, by a lot. Is am I just streaming the games there, or can I download games to my actual piece of tech, piece of hardware? You know, because it's just still not gonna like imagine playing Halo on a cloud streaming handheld. You know, it's
any
just not.
shooter,
I just
right?
can't see that working even by like 2027, 2028, you know, not right now. I just
Yeah.
don't see that being feasible right now. But if you could also download the games, you know, and maybe it's a thing where the developers have to go back and make it compatible with the handheld or something like that. And that in that case, Xbox can get all their first parties to do that, right? So it's like, you know, you have COD being able to download on the handheld, you have Halo, you have Fable, you have all that, right? And that would make a lot of sense to me if they could get away with that, and then also have the cloud streaming for other games that don't, you know, for the developers that opt not to go back and make their games compatible with that handheld.
Yeah, I also think they need to do some sort of um hook up to where you can like hook it up to a screen or something, kind of like
Mm,
the Switch or like the
yeah,
Steam Deck.
yeah,
So it is like if somebody doesn't have an Xbox and they just kind of choose this as their kind of on the go device, like they have the option to put it on a different screen or something.
yeah, yeah. I wonder how they'll do that. Do they make a little dock or something?
Either make a dock or make a at least be able to like plug it into a port,
Yeah,
you
something
know,
like
like
that. Yeah,
HDMI port to a like a monitor or a TV or something.
yeah.
Um, I
I
think they
hope it
kind of
like
have to.
it talks to the Xbox, you know, like a lot, you know,
Yeah, a lot
if
of
you have both.
interconnectivity with your
Yeah, a
account.
lot of interconnectivity. I want to be able to like sort of like how the PlayStation app works when you pull up your
I
the
mean, they
mirror
do with
screen
their
thing.
Xbox app.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, and it could just be a lot like that. Like I just want to be able to, you know, put my handheld down and then pick up my Xbox controller and all of a sudden I'm playing it on the TV very smoothly and quickly like that.
They already mostly do that with PC. Like, there's a lot of interconnectivity. Like,
Yeah.
you can like get your achievements on PC, come to your Xbox, keep playing that same save and stuff. Um, what do they call that? What's their like save thing? Play anywhere, right? Is
Yeah.
that what it's called?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they already kind of do that. So, but they kind of have to if they're going to do a handheld, like everything we play anywhere. Like
Exactly.
every save needs to be able to like beam something so that your save is there and you can play on your Xbox and your save
Right.
there or
They
your
already
PC.
have a very good system with a lot of these things. It
Yeah.
just needs to
I mean, they have
be
some of the best
the
cloud save.
best possible with the handheld, right?
For sure. Um, design, like that's something that I'm curious about is like how do they design this thing?
Yeah.
And
I want it
like
to feel more like a piece of hardware, you know? It's like
yeah,
the Switch still feels a little bit like a toy a lot of the times.
for
But
sure.
Xbox, especially with their controllers, they're definitely known for having their thing actually feel like a solid piece of tech there, right? So
Yes.
I'd imagine that mindset would carry over to the handheld.
Yeah, it's just kind of Nintendo's mindset. Like
Right.
they're like we're not making machines at a loss. We are always going to be making money even with the sale of every console, you know? So that's what they like to do. But, you know, PlayStation and Xbox, they prefer to kind of make more money on the software side and kind of eat a little bit of cost up front with like the hardware. I'm with you. I'm wondering if it's going to look a little bit more Steam Decky or kind of like the ROG Ally, something like that. Or
Yeah. Yeah,
are
I
they
would
going to,
yeah, who
yeah, like,
knows, you know? It's no, I don't necessarily like the way the Steam Deck looks, you know. I definitely don't like the
yeah,
placement of the analog sticks on that. I've never
me
felt
neither.
one, but it's like I don't like how that is. I'd imagine PlayStation and Xbox will be able to outclass Valve and design on both those fronts.
Yeah. Do we think that they're going to have removable um, like, kind of Joy-Con like things?
I
'Cause,
doubt it.
what's the one that there's one that has that as a Lenovo? That has,
Yeah,
like, the
yeah, I know what you're
removable
talking about. It has the Joy Cons, but I don't know. I doubt it. I kind of feel like Nintendo only put that in to have
the
different
motion
motion
controls?
control stuff with their Joy Cons, right? Yeah. So I doubt anyone else would see a need for that.
Do you think Xbox? Do you think they're trying to sell this at a low cost? So like, are they trying to make these parts, pretty reasonable? Because like I guess what I'm kind of getting at is like we assume that the Switch 2/Pro is going to be an LCD screen.
Yeah.
Do we think this Xbox One is going to be an LED screen? Or are they going to actually have a nice, good,
I
or OLED screen? I mean,
Yeah, I could see them having different versions. Why not for your Xbox? To me, the only reason Xbox would even consider making a handheld is just to have another screen for Game Pass, right?
yeah,
It's just to have another storefront available and to compete on the handheld front, right? Handhelds have had a resurgence over the last like 5 or so years. I mean, mainly due to the Switch, but also due to the Steam Deck. And
mhm.
everyone's dipping their toes back into it, right? You see PlayStation with the Portal, Xbox doing different stuff, teaming up with ROG Ally and all that different stuff. So I just think the only reason they're doing this in the first place is to have a Game Pass machine. And yeah, you might as well make a cheap version and an expensive version. Make as many versions as possible, right? I mean,
Doesn't the Steam Deck do that?
yeah, exactly. They have an OLED version, they have an LED
Yeah.
version, and I mean those are very expensive. So I would assume Xbox is aiming to put out a version less expensive than those, but still, why not just have
How
multiple different
how
SKUs
how much you think that's going to cost? You think so? You think the main console is going to be 500 again?
for the next Xbox?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go to 6.
Hmm. Then how
If
much
I'm
do you think the handheld?
Xbox, dude, I would like their next console to be damn near a PC, Like
Sure.
actually make it the most like powerful console we've ever seen, and like
And then have like other models lower.
yeah, have some other like they already did it with the Series S, right? But maybe add a
Yeah.
third SKU in there, maybe add a middle SKU, and then a really high end SKU that's like 900, 800 type of thing.
You know what that feels? That feels like Apple
Right.
with like all the different versions of the iPhone.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many.
The Pro
Like
and the
they
Pro
even did
Max
like
and all that
that
shit.
small one. If you remember, they did that for a few years.
Yeah.
You ever seen that one? The really tiny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could easily do that
And
probably.
I know people will still get mad at prices, but it's like everyone's so used to it now with the phones, right? With seeing how expensive Apple
Yeah.
charges with their phones, that it's
I guess you have to do a service where you like pay monthly service because that's
right.
what you do with the phone. So I
Yeah.
guess they would have to like do that on
Oh, and
their
you can
website
now.
or
You
something.
can do that on pretty much every fucking website now. I've noticed.
Oh,
It's
can
just
you?
like everywhere, dude. Will have a different program where you can pay through with a monthly thing. So it's
Interesting.
yeah, that's not
Okay.
hard nowadays. Like that's on like everything. No, anything you buy on Amazon now, you can add it to a monthly thing through a different program. So it's yeah, that's a pretty easy fix nowadays.
I guess you could be right. They could even like let's just try to push it up more and like get a more higher end one that actually competes with some high end PCs and then kind of give up people options.
Yeah, I mean,
And
why
then be
not?
the smallest option be the handheld, right?
Right, exactly. Just have a bunch of different SKUs if we're just gonna keep going with the console market in the first place.
Yeah, it's a good point. And it has to have a good battery life. That's always like the number one thing.
Yeah,
These
100%.
things got to have good battery life.
Yeah. There's another reason you'd need a dock, right? Just to charge it and all that,
Yeah.
or be able to
Yeah,
plug it in.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Very
dock could be a
interesting. We'll
very smart
see.
way.
Yeah, we'll see what this does. Yeah, like I said, hopefully it does try to launch right alongside the new Xbox. Just put out a whole bunch of new hardware at once, and hopefully got a new game to go with it. Maybe the new Halo game or whatever.
Mm. Yeah, that'd be a good test bed. The
Yeah.
new Halo game launching with it.
Yeah.
Like,
I suppose if it's 2026, that might line up with Gears E-Day, right?
yeah, because yeah, I guess we're not thinking it's next year, right?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, he did
I
say a
guess they
few
do
years.
Gears.
So, yeah. I don't know. That might line up. Maybe Gears E-Day is the big next gen game for them.
Next gen launch game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a big next gen launch game.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a perfect one to do it with too.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then yeah, more games coming to PlayStation from Xbox, and I'm assuming Switch as well. So I guess we'll see more soon. I don't know what's
Yeah, I
next,
wonder.
but
Yeah, I was just gonna
I
say, I
guess
wonder what
Indie's
would
next.
be.
But
Yeah, but beyond indie, that's like announced already.
yeah,
Like, what would be the next? I guess Doom, right? As well.
yeah, Doom is I think already confirmed day one. So
Yeah. So like,
yeah,
other than
that'll
that,
come
would
in.
be the next like
Yeah, I don't know. I am very curious if they pull the
Avowed.
trigger on Halo. It's you know. But yeah, Avowed I could easily see. Hellblade could easily see.
Hellblade.
Yeah. I just really hope they don't do the Halo 1 remake and then we'll put that on PlayStation. But we
What
never
about
put
just
the
Chief
Master Chief
Collection?
Collection. That's what I would
Yeah.
want, right? But I don't know if they'll do that. Do they try to trickle it out? Do we do a Halo 1 remake, a Halo 2 remake, a Halo 3 remake, sell it all for 70? So that might be the way to go business wise.
Yeah, but I don't know. I could see them doing more of a trickle with the Chief Collection.
Sure.
Kind of what they did with PC, if you remember. They were
Yeah.
like putting it in order. It was like Reach was the first one, and
Yeah.
then we did
Yeah.
one. But it was still just like the Chief Collection. Like you bought the Chief Collection. And they were just
Right.
incorporating it. So
Just
maybe they do
add it
something more
on.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that as well.
Or we get a Gears collection or something would be an interesting one. Like building to E-Day.
Yeah. I
Getting
would
like
love
1
a
through
Gears
5.
and Fable collection. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Doesn't even need to really be that much work done. It just needs to be playable, I think.
Yeah.
Like maybe touch it up, HD it
Yeah,
up a
I know
little
those are
bit.
hard to get them all to work together, especially with the Gears, right? Because you'd have the multiplayer side on it. Like, I would want the Gears
Yeah.
collection to be like the Master Chief collection and just work like that, where I can play any Halo game at once. I want to be able to play any Gears game
And I
like
think that
that.
was the problem with
That was definitely the problem with it. It took them years to get that ready, but I mean, when they did, it was beautiful, right?
maybe get 343 to help with it. we know
Yeah,
the problems
get
that
a
you had.
side studio to work on that one because it's definitely an undertaking. All right, so yeah, we'll definitely. I wonder if Xbox got anything to announce at Game Awards, maybe.
Well, so do we so what's their lineup next year fully? It's like Avowed, Doom, Fable, Call of Duty,
South of Midnight.
South of Midnight.
Yeah, I think those are the big
Is
five.
there any room to fit anything else for them?
I don't know.
Like at
Yeah,
the
I
end of
don't
the
know if
year?
you even want to put another big AAA one in there. You know, like you definitely don't want to put a Gears in there. You know, that's too much.
I have it that it could be
Yeah.
Forza Horizon 6.
Yeah, could be that. Could be that. Maybe you do that and then have that come out right next to Call of Duty, right?
Yeah, end of the
Yeah,
year.
Call of Duty October and then Forza November or whatever. Again, you know, that's never a bad move. And on top of that, I mean, Fable is lining up for next fall as well, so maybe it's like Fable September, COD October, Forza in November. Could see that. That
That
wouldn't
sounds
surprise
good.
me. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that could be really the only one that they could push for like the end of the year.
yeah,
Because we
yeah.
haven't
And that
seen
can
Forza
always
Horizon
fit in,
5.
right? Just considering the racing game fans, they'll always come out and
Always,
support that and buy that, right?
especially Forza.
Yeah.
So big.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that teased Xbox up for an incredibly good year, which should be good. I mean, the South Midnight previews sound pretty promising thus far.
I haven't really
Obviously,
seen them.
obviously Doom's going to deliver. We'll see where Avowed ends up landing. So, yeah. Could have a
I mean,
giant year.
that's a good lineup for them.
Yeah, I
Especially
wonder if we get
like
a date for something at Game Awards. Maybe a Doom date. Could see that wouldn't surprise me too much.
yeah, yeah. I guess. So is Indie already out at that point?
Um, I think Indie will come out like that night or something,
Hmm.
or it
So
might
yeah, because I
already
don't think
be
they want to
out.
overshadow Indie too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see a Doom date.
No, it'll be out. Yeah, because it's the 12th, so it comes out the week before.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect then. So yeah, I could see a Doom date for sure.
Yeah. That
Doom would
wouldn't
be a
surprise me.
great place to have a new trailer.
Yeah, 100%. And I think they like Keeley's, if I'm not mistaken, Doom.
Usually,
The id guys, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think you're right with Doom. I think that's a good choice.
Yeah. All right, cool. Our last news story then. Here. Hidaki Itsuno? I believe that
You
was
got
his
his
name.
last name right.
Itsuno. Okay.
I think is it Hidataki? Is
Hidetaki.
that isn't that what it
Hidetaki.
is that his name? Yeah, Hidataki.
Hidetaki.
There's no
Hidetaki
T
Itsuno.
there.
Okay. You're right.
I put
I'm just
T. I just
I'm
put
just
T.
adding in stuff. Yeah, why'd you write it T now?
Because there is a T.
Oh, there is a T there.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said there isn't a T. Okay,
No,
whatever.
there should be.
He will now be studio lead at Lightspeed Studios in Japan. He says he's looking forward to creating an original IP with the team. Daniel, Lightspeed Studios owned by Tencent.
I saw that.
Yeah, and I was looking in like, what is this studio? I was trying to like find what it is. So this is a studio that has a bunch of different studios throughout the world. Apparently, there's like an LA office, and there's one in China somewhere, something
He's
like
running
that.
the Japanese one.
And now this Japanese one is a new studio. So technically, he's created a new studio with Tencent, but it's just under the Lightspeed name, as far as I
Interesting.
can tell.
It's like this dude's a legend. I
Right.
mean, he's
People that don't know,
amazing.
creator of Devil May Cry 3, 4, 5, Dragon's Dogma 1 and 2. He did something else too with
He
Capcom,
did
but
like Power Stone. I mean, he
yeah.
was like
Seems like
old
he was a
Cap.
producer
Yeah,
on a lot of other Capcom games as well. So
yeah,
yeah, definitely industry vet here.
for sure. I think he produced the other two, or he was like a producer for the other two Devil May Cries before he took the reins when the other guys left. Um, yeah, like I made a big deal out of this when he left because I've been waiting for Devil May Cry 6.
Yeah.
It's like, well, he chose to do Dragon's Dogma 2 instead of Devil May Cry 6. So, and then now he's gone. I guess it's nice to see him have a studio with Tencent. Makes me weary, but like, I don't know. Like, we'll see what they do with his studio,
Yeah.
like how quickly they can get it up and running.
I'd imagine you hire this guy to do what he does best, right? And that's make some sort of action game or an action
Yeah,
RPG of some sort. Create a new IP with Tencent, right? So I'd imagine if they just let him do that, they'll probably make something cool here. It is a new studio, so they're gonna be hiring up for a little while, but I don't know. I don't think it's that bad of a move. Tencent, yeah, I'm with you. It definitely makes you wary, but I don't know. It's a good thing ultimately. It's better than him making his own studio, I think, which is what we see a lot from a lot of these guys. A lot of people spin off and make their own studio and don't have a giant publisher behind them. At least with Tencent, he's got money backing him, right?
yeah. No, you're not wrong about like him actually having, but we'll see. I, I just hope that they let him make the game
Yeah,
and don't like force like some other Tencent it like things in it.
right.
That's just what I hope.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest reason why I'm trepidatious about it.
got to work on mobile as well and have thousands
Yeah,
of microtransactions. Yeah.
just let him make a game. Just let this legend make a game.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I would hope it would be something in the Devil May Cry vein, some sort of action adventure
Fun
game
action
like
game.
that. Yeah, maybe. I mean, obviously, he has experience with RPGs with Dragon's Dogma now, so maybe it's an RPG more, but something like that, something single player like that would be my hope. But we'll have to wait and see.
He's making Genshin Impact too.
Ooh,
I don't think that's
that'll light the
10 cent,
world
but
on fire. That'll do it for him. All right.
I'd hope not.
Well, yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see what he makes. Yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for the news of the week. Pretty light news week. Not much. And have you
Yeah.
watched Arcane yet?
No,
No, haven't seen Arcane yet. Yeah, me neither. I
no.
haven't gotten around to it yet. I'm trying to finish up the Penguin, and then
Uh,
I'm gonna watch Arcane.
I have not been watching much TV shows. I don't have Netflix right now, so there's a few things on Netflix I'd like, but I'm behind in Netflix stuff.
Get
Uh,
HBO. The Penguin, really good.
I have Max. I
Yeah,
usually just end up if like I'm watching that. Like most of the time I'm watching YouTube, but if I put on a different one, I'll just put a movie.
sure.
Um, yeah, I would like to check out the Penguin.
Yeah,
How many
really good.
episodes is there?
8.
8 episodes? Are
Yeah,
they like hour long?
yeah,
8 hour long episodes?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Just about all of them are like over an hour.
Okay. Yeah, I've wanted to check it out. I just haven't like deep dived into it.
Yeah, shockingly good. I was like, yeah, who knew? Who knew?
Yeah, I know people are liking the How I Met Your Mother girl. Apparently, she's really good in it.
Oh yeah, dude, she's really good. The girl that plays Sophia Falcone. She's
Yeah,
she's the best part, honestly.
she's the best part of the
Yeah,
show.
she's the best part. I mean, the
That's
Penguin, Colin
awesome.
Farrell's great as the Penguin too, but yeah, Sophia Falcone steals the show for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's weird because you're
that's
like rooting for the Penguin, in the show. You're
yeah, yeah.
like they make you
Well,
root for the Penguin. It's like, oh,
in
okay,
most
great.
iterations of the Penguin, he's a complicated.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
he deals with the gangster side, but
Yeah,
like he like not that he has like a heart of gold, but like he's more complex than like just a thug
yeah,
that Batman's fighting.
yeah.
Like he's helped Batman in his history. So
They
like
lean into that really hard.
yeah,
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 for sure.
interesting.
All right. We now move on to what we've been playing. Dana, nothing, anything,
You assume it's immediately nothing.
nothing.
That's good stuff. Actually, I beat the Call of Duty campaign.
Hell yeah, Daniel. I have also beaten the Call of Duty campaign.
I did the last mission this morning.
Okay, hell yeah.
I played it last night. That's the only thing I played. I didn't get to check out multiplayer, with my buddy or anything. Um, I think it took me about 5.5, 6 hours somewhere.
I don't know how long it was. Some of the missions I was in way longer than
Yeah,
others. So, and then some
I think
of
it was
them
like
were just
9
like really
missions, 8
short. I
missions.
forget which mission it was. I think it was maybe the 8th mission. Definitely the last mission was really short. Like the very
Yeah.
last one. Yeah, 10 was longer, but then 8 was. It might have been 9 that was also like surprisingly short. But yeah. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, it took me about like 5.5 hours, 6 hours. Yeah, I'm surprised you beat it because you've been a little behind in the.
Yeah,
I want
completely.
to know, like, did you even check out Cold War first? Because
No,
like,
so like that was my whole hiccup with not playing it yet. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll go back and play the other because I beat Black Ops 1 like forever ago back when that game came out, but I never played another Black Ops game beyond that. So that was my big
you
holdup.
didn't play
Was I was
two?
like,
Oh,
so I was like, try to go back and play them all. And the more I thought about that, the more I was like, that sounds like something I'd like to do, but I'm never actually gonna do. So
you
I
should at
might as
least play
well.
Black Ops 2.
I,
Black Ops 2 is
I
so
might
good.
as well just go and yeah, maybe someday I will. But again, it's like that's a nice thought, but will I ever actually do that? Probably not. So
Yeah,
so yeah, I just went ahead and pulled the trigger and just played Black
that's
Ops
fair.
6. Yeah,
I would, I'd say 2 and Cold War, like, not necessary to play. Like, this is a direct sequel. 2 is more of like you kind of know where things are going because that like is pretty far in the timeline of
yeah,
the Black Ops games because these all take place like in between 1 and 2.
yeah, yeah. From
And
what I understand, it seems like Cold War was the major one you'd want to play before this. But
for sure.
yeah, and maybe someday I'll
Because
play it. But
there's like stuff with Adler there that you're missing.
yeah,
Um,
I'd assume
but
a lot of these characters were established in Cold
no,
War. No, really? Okay.
no, that's kind of where I was getting at. Other than really Adler
Yeah,
and like they
and
talk
Woods
about
is in
Lang.
like Black Ops 1, right?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
he's him and Mason are like the two main characters of 1 and 2.
Okay.
And then Mason's kid in 2. But
And from what I
um,
understand, World at War also connects into this.
yeah, but that's like World War II
Yeah,
stuff.
it like
But
doesn't matter, but yeah, it's
yeah,
cool that's in the same universe world thing.
hmm um, but most of that's what's cool about like this game is you kind of don't necessarily need to play Cold War. Like I said, Woods and Adler are really the only
Yeah,
in this whole new cast is just new, which I think is pretty impressive.
interesting.
Um,
Yeah, I thought for sure like Harrow and Murphy were introduced in Cold War. Okay, gotcha.
who's Murphy? I
Or
don't
no,
know
not
Murphy.
Murphy. What the hell's his name? What's the black dude's name?
Oh, Marshall.
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 There you go.
I'm like, wait,
Murphy.
I missed a character.
Murphy.
No. Marshall, Hera, Felix, they're all new.
Okay, interesting.
So basically the whole crew's new, which I found awesome because they make you attached to this crew very quickly, and I think they did a great job of attaching you to this crew. Um, Even Case, like the character that you are most of the time, that's not a character from you didn't play as Case in World War. Okay, that's
Yeah,
a new character too.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I love this game, the campaign. I think it's like top 5 Call of Duty campaigns probably. I think the only other ones that are like maybe better is like Modern Warfare 1 and 2, the originals, the Modern Warfare 1 remake, Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. Other than that, like this is up there.
Cool.
I think this crew is really great. I think the set pieces are awesome. The one thing they didn't really do, no, not like big spoilers, is they didn't really give you like the famous Call of Duty sniper mission.
Yeah.
I was expecting to at least have one. I always like one, like even if it's a short mission. Like give
Yeah,
me
I was
one.
expecting it too, especially with how much they change up the genre in each mission of this game.
Yes.
Yeah, like and not genre as in like different game genre, but like different genre theme. Like I thought it was so cool. There's like a espionage mission.
There's multiple of
There's a
them.
fucking horror mission. Technically, it's like that stuff was really cool to me.
Yeah. My favorite mission, without spoilers, is the casino heist.
Yeah,
It's probably the best mission because I think it had everything.
yeah,
Like it was a heist. It was, you know, sneaking around, and then at the end, it was awesome.
My favorite was definitely the horror mission. I think it
Horror,
was,
that's also
yeah, I think it was the fifth one,
yeah.
fifth or sixth mission. I can't remember exactly. And I found that one the most interesting for multiple reasons. But from a story perspective, I found Case's side of the story to be the most interesting part of the story overall. And I was like
Really?
really hoping, and they
Okay.
didn't delve into that as much as I wanted.
They're
You
setting
know,
up 7 for sure.
yeah, exactly. It kind of seemed like more of a setup for the next one. And I mean, quick spoiler, just mute yourself if you don't. Was that Case in the last image? Before credits rolled, like on the computer. Who was it? Was that Case?
Image.
I thought that was like Case. I thought it was like Case
Oh!
is a traitor now, type of thing, or maybe the drug is taking over his mind or whatever that voice was that was talking to him the whole
So
game.
I think there's only 2 people it could be.
Yeah,
I actually didn't really think about it. I kinda forgot that. So there's only 2 people I think it can be, and I think you're right.
yeah.
But the only other person it can be, which I don't think is who this is the dad, but, like, the dad's dead,
Oh, okay.
right?
Who's dad?
Or wait, there's 3 people I guess it could be. Okay,
Harrow's dad?
yeah.
Really?
So,
Okay.
I'm just naming people that it could be.
Yeah.
It's not the dad. So I think it could be her dad somehow. Um, I think the second one is probably most likely, which I think it's Case.
Yeah.
Um, which is your playable character. I think is the most likely, and the only other option that it can be is whoever killed her dad.
Mm.
They never
Oh, yeah,
say who
yeah,
killed
yeah.
her dad or
Yeah, they
killed her
never did get
parents.
around that, did they?
So like that could be who that is. I don't know, or
Yeah.
maybe that's a plot point for for 7. I'm not sure. Um, what I even though they kind of leave off at a cliffhanger, like they wrap most of this game up and they leave it off
I
at a
did
little
feel
bit of
like
a
the ending was
cliffhanger.
very abrupt.
A
Where I
little
was
bit.
Yeah, where I was
I
like,
kind of
"Oh,
like
okay."
it
I
because I
thought we
like.
would go to DC and, like, have to find the drug or something like that, and there'd be soldiers
Mm,
there, and they were just kinda like, "Oh, no, the guy on the phone handled that." The Livingston guy, he got it.
yeah,
It's all good. It's like, "Oh, okay."
I like that there's a crew now though.
Definitely.
Like
I like
the
the
Modern
crew.
Warfare games have that already.
See, I'm a little bit different from you. I didn't really like the characters as individuals, but I liked them as a crew much more. Like, I didn't think Felix was all that interesting, but I liked him as part of the crew,
A
as
dynamic in the crew. Yeah,
exactly as that
I agree
role
with
in the
Felix for
crew.
sure.
I definitely found them more interesting.
I think all the
Except
other ones I
Seb,
like.
who I found very interesting.
I mean, I like Woods because I have an attachment to Woods.
Sure, yeah.
I think Marshall and Seb are great.
Honestly, I didn't realize Woods was like one of the protagonists of the other game until I was like halfway through it already. So yeah, I didn't really. I kind of found Woods to just be that generic old school military guy for a little while. But
Yeah, if you don't have an attachment to him, what else is he?
exactly, yeah. And then same thing with Adler, sort of. But
Adler's just that mystery. Like he has such a dark story. Like you never know if you should trust him or not. Like he's
right,
just that mysterious, like
yeah. I mean,
dude.
this really is Mission Impossible, the game. Like
Pretty
that's
much.
really what it
Pretty
becomes.
much.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is entirely just Mission Impossible. It is your generic action movie in a good way.
You're like working for the government, but you're not. You're
Right.
like doing you're yeah,
Oh, and then all the
espionage and all that.
spy missions.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, this is so Mission Impossible. And I thought it was
That's
really
why I
cool
loved
for
it.
all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like I said, my favorite part just was changing up the genre of each mission. It was so refreshing and so cool. Like when you got to the casino mission, I was like, oh, holy fucking shit. We're
Let's
doing like a
go.
heist thing and we're playing as the other characters as well.
That is some of my favorite parts of the game is where they're
Yeah.
like, you're moving to Sev, boom, now you're playing as her. You're moving to Marshall, boom, you're playing as. Like, I kind of wish they would do that more.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's
Oh,
like
yeah, I do
some of
too.
the
Yeah.
coolest parts of the
Yeah,
game.
that would have been even cooler. Because it's like there was points where it was like, okay, Seb, you're gonna go do this, and we're gonna go do this mission elsewhere. It's like, oh, okay, well, let me also play Seb's little mission here.
Yeah, like in the casino one, you're playing as Felix and you're sneaking because he can't fight,
Right,
or he
exactly.
refuses to kind of fight.
Until the end where he's just blasting everyone.
Well, it's in that mission where he bashes the dude's head in the keyboard.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's like, all right, bro.
Yeah, I love the crew. The game feels so good to play.
It
Like,
does, yeah.
this game just feels
It's a
so
fantastic first
good.
person shooter.
It's
It really is.
like top notch. And I'm wondering, like, I'd have to do research. Is this already? Because it kind of feels like it.
Say that again.
The Infinity Ward's engine.
Oh, yeah. I
Remember,
don't
they
know.
wanted to unify everything
Right. Yeah.
into one engine.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if it already is.
Do the recent Modern Warfare games do the whole like dive thing, and where you dive back and dive
Not
to the side and
always,
all that? Not
no.
always.
They
Okay.
like to do, it started with Modern Warfare 1, 2. Yeah, I guess all the recent ones. They do, like, a super sprint, where you, like, hold sprint, and then you can, like, do it like, more, and you run really fast. They don't really do a dive. Black Ops 1 started the dive. That was the first
Oh,
Call of
okay.
Duty to do that.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, and now you can, like, run in all the directions, and you can dive in all the it feels really
Yeah. Yeah, man. I
um
ended up really enjoying the campaign. Like I thought it was fucking awesome. Just all around. Dude, the open world mission, I thought that was fucking great. Where
I
like
didn't really do enough of the side stuff in it,
I
but
did
yeah, it was
everything.
cool.
Yeah, I did
Did you?
everything in the
Nice.
mission. Yeah, I did everything in the mission, and it was so cool because it all added up to something at the end where you could call
Oh,
in like extra things at the in the last mission. So like you unlock the helicopter if you do certain things throughout the open world map.
I got one. I did one. I got the airstrike.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah,
like
yeah. Or you
like
can
a
get the
missile.
airstrike. Yeah, and all
Yeah,
of that stuff can help you in the big last hurrah that they were doing at the end of that mission.
okay.
Where you're fighting everything, and I just
You're
thought
just
that
not
was
shooting anything, you're just, like,
yeah, dude.
calling
There
in the
were points where I was just like, all right, bring in the helicopter, and I'm just looking
That's
at all
awesome.
these people getting shot up, or
It's
calling
so
the
cool.
airstrike. Yeah, and obviously that stuff had a reload, so at some point you would have to shoot. But yeah, I did find
Yeah.
that stuff really cool. But yeah, and then the horror mission in general, man, I just got to shout that one out.
That
That was
grapple hook feels so
that's what
good.
I'm
That it
saying, dude.
feels
When they
so
gave me
good.
a grapple hook, I was like, let's go.
And it wasn't even, like,
Let
a
me run on
cheap
the
feeling
wall now.
grappling hook.
You
It felt good to do it too.
Dude,
It
there's a
felt
point where
good.
you fought a fucking xenomorph with a grappling hook and you played prop hunt with the xenomorph.
I was gonna say you fight a mimic from Prey.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You play prop hunt with it, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is the best mission ever. This is the best thing I've ever seen in my
I knew
life.
you were gonna like that. That
I was so hyped when you started shooting the chair and you had to find him. I was like, let's go. And I got a grappling hook. I was like,
oh
this,
my
this mission
god.
was just made for me. They
So I
also
guess if
do
we
they do the
Oh, go ahead.
mannequin thing from fucking
Yes.
and I saw this might be in a different game. I don't know what this is from, the whole mannequin moving thing, only when you're
Layers
not
of Fear.
looking at them they free. Is it from Layers of Fear? Okay.
I mean, that's an old the Weeping Angels.
Okay, gotcha. I never played
You ever
Layers of
seen that
Fear.
before?
Yeah,
That was
no.
a famous episode of Doctor Who as well,
Oh, really? Okay.
of, like, the turning around, the Weeping Angel
Sure,
that come at you
sure.
when you turn around, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like a that is an old tale.
Yeah, it took a little bit out of it just because I've seen it before. I saw it in the Resident Evil DLC first, the one for 8, I believe. That was the
Oh,
first place I
right.
remember seeing that. So it was like the same mechanic
I
from
remember
there.
you talking
But
about
still, it
that,
was
yeah.
very cool. And such a smart way to reuse assets too, because they were just clearly using the mannequins from Nuketown, from those
Sure.
maps and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like that's and same thing with the zombies, right? They're just using the zombies from fucking
Mhm.
zombies mode, right? It's like, all right, that's a really smart way to add in different assets from these other modes into your game.
Yeah, I love Harrow's mission too.
Yeah.
They kinda
Yeah,
split
Harold's
it up.
mission
They
at the end
chop
was
it up a
very
bit.
interesting. I could see a lot of people being turned off by that mission. I liked it a lot just for story implications and like some of the puzzles were somewhat
I like
interesting.
the I like the more ethereal stuff,
Yeah,
like, especially of a game that's pretty grounded, like, having that ethereal
yeah,
um, yeah, I just would like, they kind of try to pace it differently by chopping it up, making it bounce back to what's happening outside,
yeah.
and then, back into her head and
Yeah,
stuff.
I wish that last part was funny. It's funny you just played this too because I just beat it last night. But I wish that last part was a bit more of a platformer. Like I wish they made that a little bit longer because I was like, oh, this is a really cool idea. But a little bit, I
Oh,
got
yeah,
through it
you
in
get
like
the
one
grappling
try
hook.
and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
but still
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I guess before we do a little bit of spoilers, what do you spoiler
But
alert,
we've
like,
been
what do you think?
spoiling the whole fucking
So,
thing.
I guess if that is case, do you think Harrow's dead too?
Ye uh, so what happened to Harrow right at the end? They
Well, the
had
last
her?
thing you see is he Case, like, was choking her,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
then they cut
yeah.
away.
Yeah, good point. And Case, I guess, wasn't in the car when they met up with Livingston right at the end?
So, no, that not that we saw. We
Not that
saw
we saw,
Adler
right?
drive.
Yeah,
Felix
so
was
remember
behind.
exactly, yeah. Oh, Felix was behind him. Where was Woods? Oh, Woods was up there talking to him, wasn't he?
And Marshall were talking,
And
and
then
then Sev
Sev
was
was on the
sniping.
sniper. Yeah. Yeah, so we don't see it's gotta be Case, I'd imagine that because there was that whole voice talking to you the whole time, right? Which I'm
Did
assuming
they
was from
never
the
say
cradle,
who that
right?
was?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know who
You
that
assume
was.
it's
Maybe
just a drug or
right, yeah.
some, like, hidden, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, hidden, objective for
Right.
him
Yeah.
that like overrides anything he wants to do. Like if he wants to be helping the crew, but like that thing is gonna eventually like now this is your objective.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I wonder if it's going to be a case in the next game where it's a case where the drug has just like completely taken over case, and that voice
So
in
he
his
just
head
plays
is
the
kind of
crew, I guess.
yeah, and maybe he plays Marshall or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It was a cool setup for the next game for sure. Yeah, having Case be the bad guy now. That's an interesting thing. And maybe like I don't know, maybe in the drug there's a way for the Pantheon to now control Case or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
something
they're in
along those lines.
control, well, I guess they destroy like the sample of the cradle drug, but I guess there could be
Could be more
a
out
way
there,
to
yeah.
control
I mean,
him.
Livingston even says right at the end, there's the Pantheon's still out there. So yeah, I don't know. I suppose it's just gonna be a war between CIA and the Pantheon. Such a
Yeah, and
wild
then
thing.
your crew's like the one really dealing with them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Shout out to
yeah.
Bill. Shout out to Bill
I'm
Clinton.
excited.
Being in the game. So I was like, can I shoot him? No.
That was a cool mission. What did you do for that mission?
um.
So you get like three different choices of what you could do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Of which way you want to go about it. I talked to his wife and got
Uh-huh.
her to
The whole sex
get
tape
him for a
stuff.
picture. Exactly. Yeah.
I did.
I
That's exactly
blackmailed
what I
her.
did.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the most interesting political one. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Most minor complaint I have with that part is they didn't let me order a drink at the bar and then talk to her. And
Mm,
that was because you went up right next to her at the side of the bar, and I was like,
yeah,
all right, let me get the whiskey, and then you go in and talk to her.
yeah,
That's how this should be played. It's still very cool. I liked the whole home base mechanic as well. I found that
yeah. The
really
Rook was a
interesting and
fun
fun. Yeah, because
thing.
I really like trying to find all the money scattered around these different missions now. It gave me a reason to explore a little bit more and search around just to try to find money. And they would add a lot of different things. Like there'd be like that mission we were just talking about. There was like a hidden safe behind these curtains and stuff like that. And you had to try to figure out the code to get in the safe. And then it gave me like $1,000. And then I went back and I was able to
Mm,
upgrade it through that.
cool.
I found that stuff to be really cool. Could have been a little bit more developed, a little bit more
A little more fun character stuff there.
yeah.
They started doing some of that. I went around talking to everyone after each mission.
Yeah, me too.
I just wanted a little bit more, like more bonding, like do like very maybe not Mass Effect, but like have like fun like bond like maybe they don't want to do that for a Call of Duty game, but like have some like fun bonding like these are people are bonding together. This crew is a crew stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you want to do like a loyalty mission, but like something like that.
No,
Like
I hear you. Like it could have I wish it had choices, because it gave you the whole prompt of pick your answer here or whatever like that, but
yeah.
it never really mattered what you picked. They are all just kind of saying the same thing. I kind of wish your choices mattered in the dialogue sections. That would have been cool. Some of those were weird for me with the just kind of watching these very dramatic moments of these characters because you're just kind of like a floating head and Case is kind of just standing there.
I wish Case was speaking.
Yeah, exactly. There was a part where Sev and Marshall were having a very traumatic, argument, sort of, and Case is just kind of standing there, like it's like felt like a very private moment where it was like,
Yeah.
Case, can you get out of the
We're
room,
talking about
please?
trauma and like you
Right.
should just leave, bro.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if I should be watching this, That
Yeah.
was really cool though, because it would be like, oh, I don't know who I want to go follow here, because it would always the mission would end, you'd be back at the house, and then they'd all talk, and then they'd kind of break off, and
Yeah.
it was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to kind of go listen in on Felix and Woods talking, or go listen in on Marshall and Seth talking over here. It's kind of interesting. It felt realistic, but also those scenes all just felt very like they were shot with a mocap, And I know everything is in a video game, but it just felt very like, oh, I can see the actors shooting this right now in the mocap suit. And it was just, I don't know, it felt a little
I think
weird.
that's because of how much we know and not like
Probably.
not
Yeah.
like an average Call of Duty fan that's probably like playing,
Yeah.
like
It's just you could see it, like Sev was talking, she knocks something off the table, and then she sits on the table. It's just like, okay, I could like visualize the actors in this room,
yeah.
right? In a white room in a mocap suit right now with a table there.
I guess the last thing I'll say, which was a weird thing that I just looked up because I was curious, looking at the trophy for the game, beating the campaign at any difficulty. only 2.3% of people have beat that campaign in
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I think Xbox, it was a little bit more. I think it was like 3%. Were you on PlayStation?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I
So
was on
we'll
Xbox.
just even averaging that 3% of people beat
Yeah,
this campaign.
no,
Wild.
nuts. I don't know. It probably
A
sold like
lot more
20
people playing
million
Call of Duty. Yeah.
copies. So, what is it? I mean, that's still not very much. I mean, what is that, like 300K or whatever? But it's still. I wish it was more, but it's still a lot of people when you
For sure, with
break
how
it
much Call of
down.
Duty sells.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just thought that was a weird, like, man, play the campaign. This is it's great.
Yeah. No, it really
This
was, man.
isn't
As
just a
someone who
normal Call of
hasn't
Duty
played a
campaign.
Call of Duty campaign since World War II was the last time I
Yeah.
played a Call of Duty campaign, so 2017. So it's been a
And
minute.
you missed some good ones, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I have. I mean, this was excellent. It was really well done. I mean, shout out to Raven. Like they really knocked it out of the park here. I thought it was it was just really well done overall. You know, some of the story is a bit of a miss for me, but other than that, man, it's just such fun gameplay and such fun missions just in general that I really did have a good time. And that horror mission will stand out as one of the best things I played this year
For
for me.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's only like 3 I would even tell you to play. Black
Yeah.
Ops Cold War,
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
I mean, 3, I guess you if you wanna continue those characters in that story, but, like, 1 and 2 for sure, especially 1, I would recommend playing, but yeah, like, I'm glad you played it, like, I'm shocked that you kinda picked it up, like, it's not long, but, yeah, it's so good, man. It's definitely gonna be in my top 10 this year for sure, like,
Yeah.
easy.
No,
I'm
yeah,
a Call of Duty guy.
and I'm not a Call of Duty guy, and with how much I like the multiplayer and zombies as well on top of this, yeah, it's definitely in my top 10,
Yeah, I need
100%.
to put some time into
And I
multiplayer,
know
maybe I'll
it's
do some of
season
that.
1 comes out, I think today.
It was today, I had
Yeah,
an update
oh, you
this
had that big
morning.
ass update?
Yeah.
You know what's in it? Prop Hunt.
Oh, is it
It
really?
is, yeah. Prop
No
Hunt's in
way.
season
It's your
1,
game of the
yeah.
year.
Oh, dude,
It's your
it might
game.
be. It might be. I just cannot overstate how hyped I was when that fucking xenomorph
You
turned into
saw.
a chair. Like, I was so like, I had to pause. I was like, oh my fucking god, this is the best thing ever.
We need to find some time to play multiplayer.
Yeah,
Or
dude,
some
I'd be
we can even
down.
play some prop hunt or something, yeah.
Oh, dude, I'd be 100% down. Yeah, I've been loving the multiplayer. So anytime you want
You
to,
played much?
the multiplayer. Yeah, dude, I'm
Yeah.
like level 49.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know what
Just
prestige
this
is or
week?
anything. Whenever it came out, I mean, I downloaded the day it came out, Call of Duty. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
over the last
okay.
couple of weeks, I got up there. Yeah, it's yeah, I've been playing a shit ton of COD, man. It's fucking awesome.
Nice. I need to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you want to play over the weekend or something, let me know.
Okay.
That will do it for the Nerdic podcast then, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to us over at youtube.com/nerdicgods. You can also find us available on all audio platforms. Daniel, anything else you want to
The numbers, Mason. Do you remember that one?
say?
The numbers, Mason.
Numbers.
What do they mean?
All right. See you, everyone.
Bye,
Bye bye.
everybody.